I just learned. I learned so much that I have to keep coming back, and I just have to stay in the work in order to be relevant.
Yeah.
In order to keep up leveling my life. It's not a one and done. It's just not a one and done.
Right. So she's a successful entrepreneur as well as a teacher, trainer, minister, and administrator, consultant, transformational speaker who demonstrates a true love for God, people, and their success in life. With over 30 years of education, Esther truly is a trainer at heart and has put the how to work both nationally and internationally. Born in Gaia, South Africa, she's lived, traveled, and trained in various places all over the world. Esther is a #1 national and international best-selling book of Why, Stepping into Purpose. Esther has also published 2 compilations from Trials to Triumphant, Volume 1 and Volume 2, Our Issues, His Virtue. Over the years, she has spoken and she's also trained and is a speaker in corporate America and is on the board of directors for one of the largest nonprofit organizations in the United States. Married to her wonderful, handsome, it doesn't say this, but I'm saying it, wonderful, loving, handsome, fabulous husband, John Graham, serves her community and her husband at Reset Church in Milford, Delaware. Together, they have 3 adult children and a daughter-in-law and 2 beautiful new grandsons. Our babies were born about the same time. She is a powerhouse. She's also a GLP student. She's been in GLP. She's been in executive coaching for 2 years. Again, international speaker. She has a 7-figure business in early childhood development. While we're in coaching, we purchased another, and you like how I say we? I didn't purchase it with her, but because she's my student, because I'm so invested in her business, I feel like it's we, right? We grew her speaking business. Her first 6-figure sales event. We put systems and strategies in place to grow her business. She has survived the pandemic in an early childhood development center. We went to the budget and really looked at what did we need to do. Her business grew 65%. Her coaching business grew 100%. She's not leaving any more money on the table as a result of being in global leadership. She increased her knowledge in sales, marketing, and social media. We gave her the skills she needed to be a leader in today's environment. Please give a warm welcome to my sister from another mister, Miss Esther Graham.
So yeah, I'm super excited to be here, guys. It's your time. And so what I want you to do right now is type in chat, and I want you to say it out loud 3 times. It's my time. 3 times seals the deal. It just seals the deal. So can you write it in there? It's my time. And I want you, if you can, put it in all caps. It's my time. I say that because, we have to believe it. We've got to embody it, right? That it's our time. And people, we make resolutions. We do all kinds of things. I don't make resolutions, but I do set my intentions, and I begin to look at all of the possibilities that's before me. And so what I want to tell you, what Susie is not aware of, because we're going to be meeting, after this, is that Susie, my husband, we're in negotiation of another facility on 2 acres of land. Whoa, yes, for our church. And we are officially launching our nonprofit. Is that super or what? We have the facility and everything. So we're just so blessed. And in the middle of COVID, guys, in the middle of a pandemic, things were still moving, but I had to make a decision. I had to decide that it was my time, and I had to decide that I needed to keep moving despite what everything may have looked like. All right. So what I want to tell you, one of my favorite passages is, to everything there's a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time for everything. And one of my favorite sayings, I use it all the time, is the opportunity of a lifetime is only available during the lifetime of the opportunity. You see, everything is on a time. Everything is on a time. But many times we say that we don't have enough time. I think that's one of the first ways for me that I discovered that I had the time, is to say, I don't have enough time. Right. And so the average person, I did the research, guys, the average person watches 28 hours of TV per week. The average person. By the way, this was the 2018, 2019 statistics. Can you imagine in 2020 what that really looks like? So the average person, 28 hours per week watches TV. That means that by the age of 65, you've watched 9 years of television. So for me, in April, I will be 60 years old. Can you imagine? Y'all believe that? I'll be 60. So I'm on, when I looked at that statistic, I have to tell you, I looked and I said, oh, I'm so glad I started moving way early because I could thank you. Yeah, I'll be 60, guys. Whoa. And listen, there's a whole other story behind that. And I had to do so much personal development around that. I'm too old to do some things, right? And so anyway, whole other session. But yeah, and so when you're looking at that, when I began to look at that, here's the question. What are you doing with your time? Where's your time going? Exactly, where is your time going? And so I know we're not at the end, but one of your home play assignments will be to analyze your time, because the bottom line is the lack of time is really a myth. You can make the time to do whatever it is that you deem that's beneficial for you. In other words, if you want to make the time to go get your nails done, to get your mani and your pedi, to go get your massage, whatever it is, you're going to make that time to do it. And what I discovered for myself is that I needed to make the time in order for me to get the life and to up-level my life and to be where I want to be, not just in my personal, but also in my business. So the lack of time is a myth. I was in the shower one day, and the shower, I love water. And so the shower and around water is where I know that God speaks to me the most. So I'm in the shower one day and I hear God say, listen, you're not living everything that like you should be living. You're at a status quo life, and I'm paraphrasing it how I heard it, a status quo life, living like how everybody else is living. So status quo is defined as existing state of affairs, right? You're just, I'm happy with where I am. And yet I've created you for more. I've created you to accomplish some things and to do some things. But here I am living the status quo life. Have you ever seen that, to where you're just doing what everybody else is doing? You're not up-leveling at all. It's like your teenager saying to you, or your child saying to you, I want to go to that party because everybody's going to be there. That's status quo. I'm going to follow the norm. I'm going to follow I've made a decision. I'm not even interested in being in that 1% that Susie talks about, right? I'm just going to stay where I am. And that is status quo living. And when I began to look at that, I began to think, no, I'm not even meant for that. I don't like living status quo. There's so much in me, and I need for that to come out. And so when I began to think about status quo, I made a decision that I needed to change the ingredients to my recipe. I needed to change the ingredient. And that meant so much for me, Lorna. It meant so much for me, Betty. I needed to begin to find out what is it that I need to be doing that's even more. So I began on a path of searching, right? Because many of us, we begin to search, and we'll go here and we'll go there. I did. And we will just begin to search. And when you're thinking about when you're on Google, right? Google can really, or any that can take you from one search engine to another search engine to another search engine. And what it does, it many times leads you to non-relevant data, right? Or what you're looking for becomes not so clear. And that's where I was. I began to search and search and search. And then one day I said, wait a minute, I need to change some things, because one thing my search did do was lead me to that path of discovery. And you have to think like a scientist, right? Like a scientist. A scientist, when he goes out, he's not going out to search. He's going out to discover himself, to discover that fossil, to discover it, and then put it together for life, right? And so I had to begin to discover what I needed to do. I added context to my search. I began to explore new ideas. I began to look at a world that I didn't even know existed for me, guys. I just didn't know. And you don't know what you don't know unless you decide that it was time for you to go in discovery mode. It's time for you to be like the scientist, all right? And so I began to look. And so I never will forget the day when I went to Speak and Write. And I saw Lisa Nichols up there speaking, and she was just speaking to my heart. And then she introduced Susie Carter, and she said, this is the person, this is my business coach. This is the person that took my business to the next level, right? And I began to say, oh, wait a minute. If she did it for Lisa, I know she could do it for me. And then I heard Susie stand on stage and give her story with the chair on her back, y'all, with the chair on her back, walking around. And I thought, oh my gosh, look at this. But it captured me. And I felt as if I discovered, my husband was with me, and even he was captivated and said, oh yes, this is it. And so then what I began to do, and Kathy Kidd does not even know this, I got recommendations. So we were in line for lunch, and it's a really long lunch line. And I saw Kathy Kidd on stage with Susie and Lisa as being a part of GLP. And Kathy spoke just a little, talked about what she did. And I decided, said I saw her walking by. She's probably want her private time because it was already a long day before lunch. And I went to Kathy, and my husband's in line. I said, you stay here. I'm going to run and talk to her. And I went up to Kathy Kidd and I introduced myself. And I said, can you tell me what you have done and what did you learn? And she just began to talk to me. I got recommendations. I spoke to people who I knew was connected. I spoke to people who I knew were doing things, and they were moving. They were in motion. They were in action. And then Kathy Kidd said to me, you need to talk to Susie. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. That was life. I spoke to other people as well, but I just remember clearly what Kathy said. And at that point, I made the decision. I went back to my husband and I said, I have to do this. I have to do this. Take note, guys. I went to every session that Susie and Lisa had together when they were talking about the business side, because that's where I needed very badly, was working on my business. And then as I began to work on that, I discovered I also needed the personal development, because you have to believe. I love in that matrix, or that assignment Susie gave us, is always personal development, because you're never really going to achieve everything unless your personal development is also intact, right? Because the tongue in your mouth and the tongue in your shoes, is that right, Susie, has to walk the same way. So I made a decision that I am worthy of living an extraordinary life. It's my time, just as it's your time. And so how did I make that decision? I stopped making excuses. I stopped making excuses like, I don't have enough time. I stopped being busy, right? I forgot, I let go really of what people thought about me. I let go of who people didn't understand what I was doing. I welcomed the unknown, because now I was going into a territory that I was not familiar with. I had made a decision that I was going to play big. And so for me, that was uncharted territory, because I always thought I was playing big until I said, no, I heard that voice that said, no, you're at the status quo. And then I stepped outside of my comfort zone. You see, if you decide to remain in your comfort zone, what feels easy for you, that's where you're always going to be. Because for you to really be successful, for you to really up level your life, you have to step out of your comfort zone. I had to get a new tribe. I had to surround myself with people that were moving. And so what's not in here, I began to just set healthy relationships and healthy boundaries. Because if you were a naysayer and you wanted to keep me just where you are, we couldn't be connected anymore. So I got a new tribe. I got people who would surround me and let me know, you can do this, you can do this. I realized that I had to make the sacrifices. So I made the personal sacrifice. And then I made financial sacrifices. For me, guys, that meant not buying as many shoes or outfits, because I love shoes. It meant I wasn't going to be eating out as much. It just meant a lot of things. You know exactly what type of sacrifices you have for yourself. I had to be more physically responsible, right? All right. And so I had to give myself permission. I had to say, Esther, it's okay to be successful. Esther, it's okay to take radical action. Esther, you're worthy. I had to give myself permission to be successful despite what it may look like, despite what people may be saying. Okay. I had to give myself permission. And then I had to win the day. I love this piece. Win the day. What does that mean? That means I had to live every day as if it's my first day and my last day. I had to make every day count. There's a doctor that went on a cruise ship and he saw the captain, and the captain began to show him that when you press one button, that all of the doors, the metal doors, will shut in every compartment, and they will shut out all of the water that can come in. I don't know if you've ever heard the story. And so the lesson in that is that we can make a decision. We could press a button. We could press a button, just like it can shut all of the compartments, all of the water to every compartment so it would not get into the ship. It can also open it. So we can open, we can press a button, we can make a decision to open up all of the possibilities in our lives, or we can close it and we could shut the door to all of our unborn dreams. We can close it. We can make a decision to win the day. We can make a decision to make a step every day. And then you have to know that you are marked. From the day that your mother and father conceived you, not the day you were born, you were already marked for greatness. It is already in you. And now what has to happen is now it just has to come out of you. It has to be pulled out of you. It has to be nurtured. It has to be nurtured. And so how do you determine that it's your time? Everybody, I want you to say again, it's my time. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to move. It's my time to make a decision. It's my time to press that button to the unborn dreams. It's my time. And so how do you know that you're ready? How do you know that? First of all, you have to put your faith in action. You've got to be ready to launch out into the deep. You can't play it safe anymore. You have to launch out. Man, listen, if I played it safe, I wouldn't open up a second business in the middle of COVID. If I played it safe, there's some things I would not be doing, some decisions I would not have made. I use wisdom in everything. So listen, guys, you use wisdom. I put everything in place and I look at everything because I learned from my coach. I put everything in place. I got the systems and the plan, and I knew exactly what to do. Right? And then you have to have a deep desire. Or if you have a deep desire to pursue your passion, that's how you know it's your time. There's just a pull on you, and that pull comes from the inside of your soul that you just can't let go. Right? It's just there. You've got a gift, a skill. You've got a story that the world needs to hear. Everywhere you go, you're seeing how someone can do it better. When someone speaks to you, you're seeing, oh no, I can help them do this, and this is, and you've got the whole plan, and it's all right there in your mind. It's all right there in your mind. That's how you know it's your time. You see it and you know that you can fulfill it. You are ready for change. You're saying, listen, I am tired of this. You are ready for change, and change is an action word. Here's one way I knew it was time for me, that my investor, my job, was no longer fulfilling me. I could do it with my eyes closed. It just wasn't hitting it anymore. So that's how I knew it was time. And you also know that you could never be 100% ready. Because if you're waiting to be 100% ready, if you're waiting for everything to be 100% in place, that's never going to happen. That's an obstacle to you walking in your time. Does that make sense? So that's how you determine it's your time. It is your time. So listen, you know your why. You're ready to invest in yourself and your dream. Investing is not just monetary, it's time, it's everything. You're ready to sit with your family and say, listen, this is what I'm going to be doing, right? You're ready to do all of that. You want to create legacy. Oh, one of my drivers is that I forget about my children. I love my children. But listen, I've got 4 grand loves. Oh my gosh, and I can just eat up. Legacy. I want to create legacy. I want financial freedom. That's how you know. That's how you know it's your time, right? You want to just up level your life wherever you are right now. You can make one needlepoint move to up level your life. You want to control your destiny, and you're ready to be in radical action. No matter what. That's how you know. So I want to tell you, it is your time. Don't wait. Step out. Invest in yourself. And know that God has always and will always have your back. Thank you so much.
Jinxie was woo-hoo! I couldn't get off mute fast enough. Okay, so I want to hear from a couple of you. Shoot on fire. Yes, yes. How many of you needed to hear that? Show Esther some love. I always want to call the instructors Dr. Esther Graham. I'm deeming it. I'm going to figure out how we get that.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Okay, so put in the chat what you got. I want to hear from a couple of you. Who wants to share? Love it. Jill's on fire today. Like, let me share.
That's because yesterday Melanie made me cry and I had to wipe my face and get back on it. Well, I just made this Post-it note, probably backwards. So I just put, I'm playing big, I'm being radical, I will make sacrifices, and I will be open to all possibilities. And I just gutted my art studio. I hauled everything out of it and started from scratch and reorganized my office. And I just put my cork board back up today. So that's the first thing going up there where I see it every day.
Yes, juicy, juicy. I love it. Esther always ignites a big fire, big fire. Okay, who is next? Jen.
Oh my gosh, Esther, I'm so proud of you. You knock it out of the park every time you speak, girl. It's just amazing. And I love you. And you and John are just so dear. What I love that you brought out, and I caught it because I was like, okay, I need to do that. You know, you got your systems and processes dialed in, and that is how you could open up the new facility in COVID and then rinse and repeat, right? And then now that you know that you've got the engine working, you know it works. Now you're looking at the new facility for the church. Like, that is amazing. I love that once you've got it all lined up, you can continue moving forward. That's all I have to say.
Good job, Jen. Good job, Jen. If you're reading the comments, Esther too, I want you to look in the comments, right? So Cheryl said, awesome and timely. I loved her presentation. It's a testimony. Oh, it disappeared. It's a testimony of what we can do if we give ourselves permission to be successful. Delzenia said radical action. What stood out most, this is from Zena, is analyzing my time and ask myself, where am I really spending my time? The opportunity of a lifetime is only available to the lifetime of that opportunity. Juicy, juicy. Like every time, that was Sandra. Hillary said, I'm gonna throw my shoe at you. So that means a good thing when we throw your shoes at you. So we did that when I think Hillary did it when we were at our live event. She took off her shoe and threw it. When that first started happening to me in this community, I was like, why are they throwing their shoes at me? And then my girls put me aside. Susie, this is what we do in our African-American churches. We throw shoes. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is a good thing. Aday, let's hear your value.
Hello, Miss
Hi,
Esther
beautiful.
Graham. You are just always sparkling and on fire. I needed to hear this today because with you and Mr. Jason and Lisa just moving things, pinky moves, and your sayings are just so impactful and so uplifting. From no more status quo living to you don't have to be 100%. And I took that back to the other time you were on Make It Rain, where you say faith without work is a doorknob. And always, you don't have to be 100%, but you just got to keep it moving. And just having you say what you're saying and what you're listening to, what you're doing, even in COVID, in the midst of COVID, you are truly, this girl is on fire. Yes, ma'am. And you are setting the spark and rising the flame. You are definitely Phoenix rising. So thank you for that. And congratulations to Jason and Breeze, to Jason. You are amazing, Mr. Jason, brother, friend. So it's amazing to be with this community, and always good to see you, Miss Esther Graham. You are truly a maven.
It is. So I want you to know that this community, and Aday just spoke to it with Brisa and Jason, Dr. Kevin Lee. He's not a doctor either. Kevin Lee. They're both launching their books this week. So find them on Facebook. Jason, put your link in there so we can find you. Jason's book, you can download it. We're really committed to supporting powerful men in powerful relationships, right? What I love and adore most is I love and adore how he loves and adores Brisa, right? He's a strong man, a powerful man, and edifies his woman and supports her like nobody's business. And then she flipped it back on him and said, it's not just me, it's all about you too. So it's a great relationship to watch. Inside this community, your dreams will unfold. I don't remember who said it, but they said, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna have a baby. I'm like, find a man. Let's get some babies going. Was that you, Anna, that said that? Yes. Okay, good. So Anna, we're going to find Anna a good man. There's a lot of good men. We're going to find her some good men so then we can have another big money business on the baby, right? Because we love that. So listen, this week has been so amazing. Esther, first, I just want to acknowledge you for listening to the calling and listening to me, right? Because Esther didn't want to speak. And Esther has been doing these big events called Festa della Donna, and she's been doing them for years. But she put everybody else in front. How many of you are always putting people in front of you? You're always edifying them. You're always supporting them, right? And I said, Esther, you have to speak. This is your event. These are your people, right? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, yes, right? And pushed her out in front. And Sam was there, and I was there. Dr. Allie was there. Matt was there. We were all blown away. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to speak? So thank you for listening. Thank you for being an amazing student, because you're an amazing coach. I love who you and John are. You show me what's possible in love and relationships by being married. How long have you guys been married?
32 or 33. Is he on?
Honey, how long have we been married? Long time. 32,
coming up.
Years.
March 1st is our anniversary. I think that's 33 years. Yay.
Look, so you learn so many lessons in this community. It's not just all business, right? You learn how to be a leader differently. You learn how to stand up differently. You learn how to show up differently. You learn how to be in relationship. You learn how to make funnels. You learn, some people didn't even know what a funnel was. Like a year ago, didn't know what a funnel was, right?
It's a whole new world, you know, that I didn't even know existed. Yeah, whole new world. Great.
So why, Esther, why are you talking about that? Why do you keep coming back? Because, we work together. You don't have to keep coming back. Yes, you're speaking, but you don't have to be here every day. Why do you keep coming back?
Because it feeds my soul, and I'm learning. Even when I did the assessment, every time I do it, it's better and better, and then it's always a reminder. So, even this last time I looked and I said, okay, I need to work on this in my other business you know what I mean? And so I just learned. I learned so much that I have to keep coming back, and I just have to stay in the work in order to be relevant.
Yeah.
In order to keep up leveling my life. It's not a one and done. It's just not a one and done.
It's not a one and done.
It's not,
right?
It's not.
And really, every time you come, you get another diamond. You weren't ready to hear it the last time because we give you a ton of information.